Welcome to a new episode of MoCapLab TALKS, today from beautiful Kiel, right at the Baltic Sea. Are you interested in how to integrate motion capture and biomechanical measurement technologies into your physical education teaching in order to improve your students' understanding of the complexity of human motion? Let's meet Stefan Kratzenstein. But before we get to ask Stefan our 8 MoCapLab questions, let's have a look at Kiel, the campus, and an exciting measurement. Thank you for having us, Stefan.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Stefan, let's talk about sport first. When I've been here last time, you were very ambitious in triathlon. You quit. I heard you quit, but not really with sports, but only with triathlon. What is it now?
Yes, it's true. Chris, I always loved my swim, bike, run, my competitive triathlon. But during the last year, it just simply took too much time. So I decided to slow down, and I decided to work on my personal best on marathon running.
Marathon running, okay. Can you share what time you are looking at? Over, under 3 hours?
Over, under 3 hours. I've busy times right now, so there's no time to run longer than 3 hours.
Okay, I'm happy that I'm not that busy, so it wouldn't be possible for me.
Yeah, we need to hurry.
Let's move from sports to sports science. You are running the MotionLab here at the university. We are actually sitting in the lab. Can you give us some insights in what you are doing here in the lab?
Yeah. First of all, welcome to my lab.
Thanks.
I'm sure you have seen a lot of labs all over Europe, maybe all over the world, and you probably noticed that every motion lab has its own focus. So, there are motion labs that have a really strong focus on what we call cutting-edge research in biomechanics. There are some labs who are using biomechanical technology to work with athletes or patients in clinical settings. Our focus is on supporting students in develop a stronger understanding of biomechanic movements, so even in very simple movements. About 80% of our students are going to be teachers of physical education in schools. So in future, their job it is to teach movement and to guide movement, to correct movement. Therefore, you need to understand the complexity of human movement, to control the 400 muscles and 40 joints and all the degrees of freedoms, even in very simple movements. But back to your question, it's my job to provide students an encouraging and stimulating environment that also students with almost no experience in using motion analysis techniques are motivated to explore human motion.
Great, yeah. So the main focus is teaching, and the interesting thing is that you integrate motion capture and biomechanical measurement technologies into your teaching. How do you do that?
During my studies back in the years, we always started with talking about very basic movements with elements of jumping and running and even very isolated movements. It's certainly very important to talk about those movements to understand complex movements. But after it, you have to grab the students by their interest to keep them motivated to go deeper into biomechanics. And most students get very excited by talking about very extraordinary movements, elite movements. Unfortunately, those movements are usually very fast and complex. You have a lot of fast rotations and movements within it, and that's where the MotionLab comes into play.
What benefits do students have when they are able to use motion capture in their classes?
Okay, Chris, let's have a look at Yumito's performance. Our challenge when we try to access those fast and very complex movements. So we use motion capture technology to slow it down, we make it repeatable, and we extract the elements we are interested in without losing any information. We even add information by using EMG technology to make aspects of motor control visible. Chris, which biomechanical principles did you recognize?
Okay, that was way too fast. I didn't even see him moving. He was moving so fast.
Yeah, no problem, me neither. And our students have the same problem.
Can you give us some examples of the motion capture projects you did with your students?
I can tell you something about my favorite class. It's called Bewegungswissenschaftliche Perspektiven. I would translate it with perspective or perspectives in or of human movement science. It's always the same structures. In the winter, we start with inviting experts from outside the university. For example, we had developers of firefighter helmets or shoe developers. Our guests come into class, we meet the experts, they bring a problem, and then we review the state of research. We start the scientific progress, develop a study design, we conduct the study and analyze the data, and then we return the results back to our expert we met at the beginning. That's actually a very tight schedule, but I can say I'm loving it. And the students, they learn so much about biomechanics and project management. It's really cool.
It's amazing. I never heard of something like that. So you get an external person coming with a problem and the students solve it.
True.
And learn from it.
Last winter, for example, we had this analysis of different shoe technologies. So our local running store, he asked for some support in consulting their athletes. They often have some of these 100 kilogram weight runners, and these runners are asking for the most fanciest racing flat. But not every shoe suits every runner. So we developed a study design to analyze the correlation between muscle activity and different shoe technologies. This is actually no groundbreaking research question. There's so much knowledge outside. But the students during the study learn so much about the application of biomechanical or motion capture technologies, about the abilities and especially the limitations of biomechanical measurements in this context.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. We did this video about the study, which we sent to the video contest of the National Biomechanics Day 2019. And guess what?
You won?
We won.
You won?
Yes.
Congratulations. Very good.
You. Really cool.
Great, you won the contest of the National Biomechanics Day. Can you explain what the National Biomechanics Day is?
I think it was just a few years ago, and the biomechanist Paul Levita started this day to promote the power of biomechanical research. Meanwhile, I think the National Biomechanics Day is everything but national. It's a worldwide occasion where labs in Sweden, Australia, New Zealand and Germany open their doors and allow interested people, researchers, students to play with the biomechanical technology, just to get an idea of what it means doing biomechanical research.
Great.
A look at their Twitter account. They're very active on Twitter. I think it's at Biomechanics Day, and they're very active. So
that's great.
Check this out.
Then we will share the address here in the video.
Yeah.
Stefan, your lab has its own social media accounts. And you are being very active in sharing motion capture / biomechanics related content on Twitter and Instagram.
I believe that biomechanical research and biomechanical knowledge contains often very abstract information. And that's very hard to understand for those people who are very often the target persons. So we use social media to make this knowledge understandable for those people. Let's say for athletes or in our case with our students. So Twitter became very popular to get in contact with other sports scientists. Some discussions of tweets go deeper than any journal article or conference can afford. On the other hand, we need to be very careful that popularity and the number of followers doesn't get more important than peer-reviewed publications of study results.
Speaking of social media and videos, you got an award from one of the biggest cycling YouTube channels at some point, GCN, Global Cycling Network. What was it?
Where the hell do you know that?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, funny story. It's not related to biomechanical research, but just a few years ago I met some friends in the middle of Germany and we cycled smaller mountains. It's called Brocken, up and down until we got the elevation meters of the Mount Everest.
Okay. So it's over 8,000 meters of elevation in your...
We had 8,848 meters to cycle. It took us a very, very long day with thunder and lightning, but also sunshine, and it was a very amazing day. And we started at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think we finished at 1 o'clock at night or something. Yeah. I just can recommend.
You know who you have to meet? You need to meet Tony Arndt.
Okay.
Watch our video with Tony Arndt and you will see why.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, we should meet.
Very good. Stefan, thank you so much for having us in your lab here in Kiel, right at the sea. Maybe our viewers can hear the seagulls. They were all the time. It's not fake, it's really seagulls that you can hear.
I actually stopped hearing the seagulls because they're always there.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, you're always welcome, Chris and Niels. Thank you for being interested in what we are doing. Do we have time for a last greeting? It's not like, hello mom, I'm on YouTube. It's a little bit different.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah. This goes out to all students who are and who were associated to our lab. Thanks for working with me. It was always fun. And to everybody else, stay curious, and you are always welcome at our MotionLab.